Well, hello there, everyone. It's been a while since I've done a conversational type video where I talk about something music related. Um, I've been busy with other projects, um, the first being just work in general, taking up a lot of my time. Um, Secondly, if you haven't seen my last video, I'm doing a series with my friend Glenn Kellaway from The Basement. He's based up in Canada. We are counting down our top 80 Bob Dylan tunes. Episode 2 was just posted on Monday on his channel, Glenn Kellaway from The Basement, so check him out. I'm in it. It's a fun hour that you can spend with us talking from a fan's perspective about our favorite Dylan songs. So we go from song 80 to 61 in this first video. The video prior to that, we introduced ourselves, talked a little bit about our channels, and we're planning to record again this coming Monday, the 10th, to go through our, starting with song 60 and going down another 20 songs till we eventually get down to song number 1 for both of us. So check that out. But in the meantime, I was thinking of something to do for a unique kind of video. And I know it's been done by other people, but I wanted to throw my hat in the ring. And if you can tell already by the title of this video, it's about live concerts and seeing bands as they currently are, or bands, a different iteration of the band that was the hit-making band. And what I mean by that is, for example, I'm wearing a shirt that says Thunderbolts and Lightning, very, very frightening, to talk about Queen. Queen, not one of my favorite bands. I like them, I respect them, but they still tour. Of course, Freddie Mercury died in the early '90s, I think 1991, and Brian May and Roger Taylor are still touring as Queen, and now they have a new singer, Adam Lambert from American Idol, and they're touring as Queen. Now, I don't have any interest to see them in that form. Once Freddie died, I mean, even though all 4 members wrote songs, all 4 of them had hit songs with the band. Freddie was just their vocalist. I wouldn't want to pay top dollar to see Queen as they are. Another example, this is a story I tell a lot of people. The band Foreigner. Now, this isn't a band that I like. I mean, they're mainstream, whatever you want to call it, arena rock. I don't know what you want to call it. But they had their place in the late 70s into the 80s. And of course, Lou Gramm is the vocalist. Mick Jones is one of the main songwriters and lead guitarist. So Lou Gramm left Foreigner years ago to retire, and Mick continued as Foreigner. And different band members from the group's heyday came and went, either from health issues, passing away, or they just had no more interest in being in the band. And Foreigner still tours with a new guy singing Foreigner songs, and Mick Jones is there. Now, what recently happened in my area was that probably 2 years ago, there was an outdoor venue, and it was this big promotional commercial on TV on one of our local news channels saying, Foreigners coming to the park, put your money toward Foreigner. And it was a sold out show. I mean, this is like a 2,500 person outdoor amphitheater. And it sold out so fast. And Mick Jones, the only original member still in the band, was not even there because he got sick. So these people paid top dollar to see Foreigner sing, I Want to Know What Love Is, and you don't have Lou Gramm singing the songs, and you don't have Mick Jones playing guitar. So you're seeing a group singing Foreigner songs with the word Foreigner behind them on the stage. Would you go see that? I mean, some people are like, oh, well, you're going for the music, Another band that does that is Chicago. Peter Cetera hasn't been with them for years. Robert Lamb is still leading the group and the original horn players. But, Chicago had so many huge hits with Peter Cetera. Why on earth would you go see Chicago without Peter Cetera? go see Peter Cetera by himself. So it's a very fine line for groups that I want to see and groups that I don't want to see as they currently are. For example, the Zombies, one of my favorite groups. They missed their mark in the 60s. They didn't have success until after they broke up originally, and now they're getting more traction as they get older. I mean, these guys are in their late 70s and just got inducted in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2019. I saw the Zombies in 2014. One of the best shows that I've seen ever. And the only two original members that regularly tour are Colin Blunstone, the original singer, and Rod Argent on organ and keyboard, and occasional lead vocals. That's fine. I would see a group like that. It's the original lead singer and the original songwriter, and musician extraordinaire. That's kind of how Squeeze are currently lined up. It's the original lead singer and his co-author. And I mean that they make Squeeze, like they gave Squeeze their songs. So the Zombies, it's Colin and Rod with their backup players. I'm fine with that. I saw them. I would see them again in a minute. Another group, the Byrds. Now the Byrds haven't been the Byrds for decades. I think at least 30 years. That they, the Byrds have lost two of their original five or founding members. They've lost Michael Clark, the drummer, and Gene Clark, one of the main songwriters, and 50-50 lead vocalist with Roger McGuinn early on. They both passed away. And of course Crosby went on to do Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young, and his solo stuff. As did McGuinn, Roger McGuinn, and Chris Hillman. So I saw the Byrds. So not to get into a Byrds discussion, but at one point in the Byrds span, when the Byrds made this album, Sweetheart of the Rodeo, 1969, the only two original members of the Byrds were Roger McGuinn and Chris Hillman. I saw them back in 2019 with Marty Stewart do this album as well as other hits. They weren't billed as the Byrds, but it was the two Byrds that were on this album, and six Byrds from the 60s. It's McGuinn and Hillman, two of the main songwriters, and it was a fantastic show. On the other hand, the Beach Boys. Now, I saw Brian Wilson and Al Jardine, who, of course, were original founding members, Brian Wilson being the mastermind behind the Beach Boys. I saw a concert with them billed as Brian Wilson and Friends. So the Friends being Al Jardine and then a later member of the Beach Boys, Blondie Chaplin from the 70s. They performed Pet Sounds in 2016, did the whole album outside, actually at the same venue that Foreigner was at. Fantastic show. And it's Brian Wilson. And I don't care, whatever your thoughts are on Brian Wilson and his mental state and his vocal ability now as an older man, I don't frankly need to hear it, because it's Brian Wilson, the mastermind. He's like a modern day Beethoven or Bach. I saw that show. Fantastic. It was way underpriced. I would have spent triple what I paid for it. On the other hand, I would not, and I repeat, I would not see the Beach Boys as they currently are. The Beach Boys being Mike Love, the sole original member of the Beach Boys, lead singer from most of their early hits were Mike Love singing. And then mid-60s member Bruce Johnston, who came in during the California Girls session and kind of essentially stayed on up until now. Never really had a big hit with his vocals. So it's not like, it's not like he sang a bunch of hits. I mean, he just kind of did background vocals, had a couple of minor hits. But I would not spend $70 to see Mike Love as the Beach Boys. I would be more willing to see Mike Love for $70 if he was billed as Mike Love and Friends, and the Friends can be Bruce Johnston. But because it's the Beach Boys, I have no interest. None. Lastly, the Monkees. I've never seen the Monkees, but I just bought tickets to see Mike and Mickey, the last two members of the Monkees, perform in Tennessee. I'm going to be driving 4 hours to go see them, and that's a big deal for me being a working guy. Um, I am going to see them build as the Monkees, and I'm fine with that. Mike wrote a lot of the songs. Mickey, of course, is like the main lead vocalist, and I'm a huge fan of Nez. So what can I say? Anyway, I'm interested to hear your thoughts. Who would you see? Why do you see the people that you see? Let me know. Hopefully, I didn't offend anybody by not mentioning your favorite band, but let me know what you think.